In case you were unaware, the Elden Ring DLC is about to come out, and before I take a week off to play it, I thought I would do one more vanilla challenge run for YouTube. I've beaten Elden Ring like 12 times at this point, not because I like the game or anything, but because I always seem to figure out a new build that is borderline torture to play and think, damn, someone needs to do it. Might as well be me. Seriously, in my last playthrough, I was cosplaying as Artanis from StarCraft 2, and I only allowed myself to use the Cypherpada, because doing a fist weapon only challenge wasn't hard enough already. So this time around, we're going to be doing incantations only, but the twist is, they can only be bestial incantations. Why? Because I got that dog in me. Let's get started. After meeting with Mom and getting Torrent, I head east towards Caelid to hit up the homeboy Gurranq. But on the way, I saw this guy, and I got spooked, so I ran off to the nearest church, got the physic, and sniffed around for the shortcut portal. Once I warped to the Bestial Sanctum, I met up with Gurranq. He's going to be very important for this run, because he's the one who's going to be providing me the bestial incantations. However, they aren't free. I need to give him Deathroot, which I didn't have any on me yet, so I just turned around and left for now. That's when Mom came to pick me up and drop me off at the dog park. Welcome to the Roundtable Hold. I walked around and met some of the other dogs here, before meeting this one guy named D. He said he hunted those who live in death, which I guess means in his free time he likes to dig up bones. But then he asked if I knew Gurranq. I said, yeah bro, I was just at his place like 10 seconds ago. And he's like, oh word? Here's the power of the Golden Order. So now he sells me fundamentalist incantations, which I can't use. So I told him I appreciated the offer, and I went on my way to find some Deathroot. Remember that spooky lad from earlier? That is a Tibia Mariner. Usually, they're easy to kill, and they always drop Deathroot. However, I currently have no way of dealing damage, but that's okay. I have a plan. Deathroot can also be found in chests in certain catacombs, and the nearest one is just up the road, in the Death-Touched catacombs. Just gotta pull the lever, enter the fog gate, run past the boss, and... Oh no. I can't open the chest until the boss is defeated. Well... Shit. There's no other way to get Deathroot, which means I can't ever get bestial incantations. This run, it's over before it's even begun. Alright, well that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.
We are now comrades in arms. I think you've earned this. The power of the Golden Order to aid the hunt of those who live in death.
It's not over yet. When things get rough, it's okay to ask for help. I'm bending the rules just a little bit to allow myself to use these two incantations that he's selling, because he's also chill with Gurranq. But trust me, this doesn't make my situation any easier. Order's Blade is basically unusable since it buffs a right-hand weapon, and I don't have a right-hand weapon, so that leaves Litany of Proper Death as my only out. It costs 17 int and 17 faith to use, and it creates an image of order to deal holy damage. I make sure to grab some runes from a guy who jumped off a bridge in Caelid before buying the spell and a seal to cast it. I use the remaining runes to level up the requirements, and I also upgrade my mind to get more casts. Alright, let's see what kind of damage we're dealing with. 17. Well, that's pretty fucking terrible. But wait, it one-shots skeletons? Okay, so the way this spell works is, it deals a lot of damage to undead, but practically none to living creatures. This makes sense. It's holy damage. But for whatever reason, Tibia Mariners don't count as undead. I'm guessing it's because the spell also prevents skeletons from reviving, but Tibia Mariners don't revive when they die. Regardless, this is my only option to deal damage and get Deathroot with, so I need to make it work. Can I even make it work? Well, I did the math, and unfortunately, yes. First, I need to make my way to Altus. So I grab both halves of the Dectus Medallion, and I go up the Dectus lift. Then I run past the Duo Tree Sentinels and make my way to this church. There, I find the Golden Order seal, which has a better incant scaling, and has a 10% damage bonus for fundamentalist incantations, including the Litany of Proper Death. Man, can I just say that that is a hard-ass name for a spell that's basically worthless? After getting the seal, I grabbed enough Somber Smithing Stones to level it up to +6. I could get it up to +9, but I don't want to learn parkour for the Somber 7 in Volcano Manor. Then, I get as many golden seeds and sacred tears as I can to upgrade to 10 flasks at +6. Finally, I trick Anastasia into jumping to her own death so I can get the Sacred Scorpion Charm, which increases my holy damage by another 12%. Alright, let's see what we're dealing with now. 35 damage. Well, that's a little over double what I was dealing to him before, but unfortunately, it's still not enough. He has a little over 3100 HP, and I have 7 casts per mana bar. Even if I have all Cerulean Flasks, 35 damage times 7 casts times 11 mana bars, it's not enough to beat him. Not to mention, this is assuming I hit him with every single shot. Since he's in a boat, sometimes the spell doesn't even hit him, and he infinitely respawns skeletons, so I'm always dealing with a possibility of getting stabbed during the spell's insanely long cast time. Despite the spell being very clearly designed for this boss fight, you can't beat him with it alone. At this point, it's feeling hopeless. But remember, this isn't the only boss that rewards Deathroot. There's still the Black Knife Assassin in the Death-Touched Catacombs. I did the math, and I deal about 15 damage per hit to her, and she has, according to the wiki, 1668 HP. So 15 times 7 times 11, yeah, it's not quite enough. However, she's one of the only bosses, I think the only boss in the game, that when you enter the boss fog, starts out with half of her HP. So it's more like 1,000. Which means that, yes, I do have enough damage to beat her. Not only that, she's a walk in the park compared to Tibia Mariner. She only attacks when she's up close, so if you're far away, she just kinda walks at you slowly. When I cast a spell, she'll try to dodge it, obviously, but the damage area is so wide that she gets hit by it anyway. I just gotta be careful to not hit a pillar, and after 5 minutes of fighting, we finally have our first Deathroot. I go to visit Garank. For my troubles, he gives me a Beast Eye and a Clawmark Seal. Wait, Garank? Where's my spell? Oh, you gotta be yeah. So you need 2 Deathroot before you can get your first Bestial Incantation. I'm sure as hell not getting it from the Tibia Mariner, so where else can I get one? Well, in Liurnia, there's another Deathroot in the Black Knife Catacombs, where the boss is not a Black Knife Assassin, but rather a Cemetery Shade. These guys are very weak to Holy, and are pretty squishy. This one in particular has only 691 HP. But he's not alone. He's supported by 3 skeletons. Yes! Oh my god, this is what we've been waiting for! These Liurnia skeletons are a bit tankier, so it takes 2 hits to kill them with Litany of Proper Death, but I can consistently defeat them by casting as soon as I enter the room, and then by running around the left behind the archer and casting the spell again. Then, it's just me and the Cemetery Shade. I deal a whopping 28 damage per hit to it, enough to show yellow on the health bar. I have to be careful though. I only have 10 vigor, and he likes to attack fast, so if he ever catches me in a combo, I'm dead. Plus, he likes to teleport around, and he also has a projectile move that paralyzes me for about 5 seconds, which is enough for him to come in and finish the job. So after experimenting with this fight, I found the one and only attack pattern where it is completely safe to cast a spell. So it was just a matter of waiting until he does the combo, and then he's dead. Words cannot describe how ecstatic I was when I went to feed Garank the second Deathroot and got Bestial Sling. Finally, I could play the game! and you already know where I was going first. It's payback time, baby. Oh, look at that damage! And look at how fast the cast time is. I can actually dodge attacks. Dude, he is just gonna get destroyed now. After I beat him, I actually had to do a reality check to not overhype myself. I mean, I still had the rest of the game to go, right? I went to the Tibia Mariner in Liurnia, who's notably tankier, and no, I'm not dreaming. I finally have damage. And after 3 hours, this challenge run can actually start. Thanks, D! Having the Bestial Sling incantation, I finally had the confidence to pull up to Stormville Castle and to fight Margit. Something I'd like to note right now, I'm going to be continuing to use the Golden Order seal, because not only is it already upgraded, it has better incant scaling, which is what the damage for Bestial Incantations is based off of. I'm still going to have the Clawmark seal equipped though, because you don't actually need to use it to benefit from the 10% damage bonus, you just need to have it in one of your hands. After beating Margit, I visited Garunk again, because I forgot to give him the Death Root from the Tibia Mariners that I slaughtered. He gave me another incantation, Bestial Vitality, which is a self-buff that gives me healing over time, and will also be useful in fights where I'm out of healing flasks. He also gave me an Ash of War, which can't use, because they can't be infused on seals unfortunately. After this, it was business as usual. I plowed through Godric, Redwolf, and Renala, and I used their runes to level up my vigor so that I didn't have to worry about getting one-shot anymore. Then, it was time to move on to Altus Plateau. There were 2 places I could get Deathroot here. One from a Tibia Mariner, and one from the Gelmir Hero's Grave. This Tibia Mariner was notably more menacing than the other 2 because he had a stand, but if you just run away when he summons, it's not that bad. The Deathroot in Gelmir's Hero Grave is behind another Red Wolf, which is virtually identical to the one from Raya Lucaria, so this wasn't too hard either. I go back to the Bestial Sanctum to turn in more— Whoa, wait, Grunk! Grunk! Chill, bro, chill, what did I do? I thought we were cool, chill out, dude! Chill! Turns out, he was just hangry, so I feed the good boy some more Deathroot, and he gives me 2 more incantations, Beast Claw and Stone of Garunk. Beast Claw is pretty nice. It looks cool, and it can be charged up, but it's slower than Bestial Sling, and it doesn't deal that much more damage. Stone of Garunk, on the other hand, amazing range, higher damage, and a massive hitbox, and it just makes such a satisfying noise. Yeah, I'm taking this one. Hey, I haven't been to the Roundtable Hold in a while. I wonder how everyone's doing. Oh, another talisman pouch. I haven't really been using any talismans. I unequipped the Sacred Scorpion charm a while ago because I was no longer dealing holy damage, and the talisman weakened my physical defense. I guess we should probably hunt some then before entering Leyendell. I opted for the Blue Dancer charm, since it increases physical damage based on equip load, which I virtually had 0. The Green Dog Talisman, since better stamina regen is always welcome. And the Canvas Faith Talisman for increased incantation damage. I figured I might as well go grab the Opaline Bubble tier and the Crimson Burst Crystal tier as well, since they synergize with Bestial Vitality. And with that, it's time for DTS. He's not that dangerous when fighting at range. He only has 3 attacks and they all have big windups, so I just chucked rocks at him and dodged everything. Well, almost everything. Alright, we've made it into Leyendell. There's not much to do here, I just need to beat Goldfree and Morgott. Before that though, we'll make a quick detour to get a Somber 7 from the sewer so I can upgrade my seal to +9. I've never seen anyone do this trick before, so I'll share it here. It lets you reach the bottom of the sewer without having to run through the pipe maze. It's great for quickly grabbing Moog Shackle, and in my case, a Somber 7 without having to defeat Godskin Noble. With a +9 seal, Gold Free is a fun waltz as usual. Oh hey, another talisman pouch. Might as well grab the Ritual Sword Talisman, 10% damage boost as long as I'm full HP. Hey look! It's Mom! Stay back, Mom. I got this! After defeating Morgott, Mom gifts me the Rolled Medallion and tells me to go to the mountaintops of the Giants, which is actually where the last 3 Deathroot are located. Man, this game has been a breeze ever since I got past the beginning. I feel like I'm on a roll. The mountaintops. Time to enjoy the fresh mountain air and stall on fighting Fire Giant. We're going to gather the last 3 Deathroot to finish off Garonk's Covenant questline. There's one at the end of the Giant's mountaintops catacombs. It's a pretty confusing dungeon because of how the game makes you think you are where you've already been, but once you figure all that mess out, it's in a chest behind an ulcerated tree spirit. There's the final Tibia Mariner on the way to Castle Sol, who, in theory, is the toughest one because he has the strongest summons, but he's actually the easiest out of all of them, because he doesn't teleport, and his summons can't even reach him down on this cliff. The last Deathroot requires you to kill Commander Nile for the Halig Tree Medallion, so I made sure to grab some Bewitching Branches, and then I made this sick jump to skip all of Castle Sol. I only brought enough branches for 1 attempt though, so I had to make it count. After defeating Nile, I got the medallion half, went back to Liurnia to grab the other half, and then we went down the rolled lift. Fortunately, I didn't need to go to Consecrated Snowfield, I just had to defeat the stray Mimic tier that was guarding the 9th Deathroot. I unequipped my seals to declaw the poor guy, and then I finished him off quite easily. And with that, we're traveling to the Bestial Sanctum for one last time. Garonk gives us the Beastclaw Great Hammer, which we can't use because it's not an incantation, but then he gives us a spell version of the Great Hammer's Ash of War, which we could use. It's a nice 360-degree damaging spell, absolutely fantastic for crowds. I'm not going to be using this spell all that much though. It would have been amazing in earlier levels, but at this point, we pretty much only have single bosses remaining. When we give Garonk the last Deathroot, well, I'll just play it out here.
It is all consumed. Still, I am not sated. Not nearly sated. America! Is this what it is to sin? Will things never be the same again? Tarnished, my thanks for thy long labor, but I have done all I can in this land. Henceforth, mine appetite shall be my sole companion. Farewell.
This is pretty sad. Our bestest boy has just discovered the human condition and is having an existential crisis over it. At least we'll get to see him one last time in Farum Azula. But first, we've got to get past Fire Giant. For the entire run, I thought I was going to be lacking in the damage department, but that wasn't the issue with this run. Bestial Sling melts him in Phase 1, and Stone of Garonk pummels him in Phase 2, especially if you hit him in the eye. No, the problem was that because of my low vigor, all of his attacks one-shot me, and the way that fire works in Elden Ring is that it will always find a way to hit you. Like, where did that streak even come from? So to win this fight, I'm going to simply not get hit. I'm not even joking. The attempt where I beat him, I still had my bubble tier on. Make no mistake though, this was by far the second longest fight in this entire playthrough, next to the first one. Once Mom throws herself into the fire for us, we're off to crumbling Farum Azula. Godskin Duo can be a little bit tricky in more ways than one. But the key is to just focus down Big Al, because he's a bigger target, and Skinny Pete likes to dodge all of our attacks. Just play carefully and don't trigger Apostle Phase 2. And now, the fight we've all been waiting for. I actually didn't know, going into this run, that when you give Gurunk all of the Death Root, he has different voice lines when you fight him. When you enter the arena, he says this.
Tarnished. Why wouldst thou? Why? It is no matter. I hereby vow. The destined death shall be restored again.
And then when you beat him, he says this. It makes the fight feel almost heartbreaking. He was just obeying Queen Marika's orders to cope with his regrets. He was my mentor, but more than that, he was my best friend. Before heading to Ashen Capital, I figured I would pay my respects. I equipped his armor, and then promptly leveled Endurance so that I wouldn't fat roll. I also leveled the Clawmark seal to plus 25, finishing it off with the ancient dragon smithing stone that he gifted me. I considered using his remembrance incantation, the Black Blade, but the faith requirement is hefty, and at this point, I don't want to respec or fight other bosses when the rest of the game is a stone's throw away. Plus, it's not a bestial incantation, and we've gotten this far, might as well finish the run with what integrity it has left. After bullying Gideon and waltzing with Godfrey again, it's time to become the Elden Lord. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'm going to go play the DLC after this video is released, and I hope to see you all there.